Hello everyone, I am Kinshuk Parashar and I welcome you all to StudyIQ platform. In this session, we are going to start our discussion on the very important chapter of Science and Technology book, that is chapter 4, the human body system, the human systems which are there, the human organ systems. Okay. We have already discussed about some of the parts of this chapter. We have talked about the nervous system, we have talked about the circulatory system, we have talked about respiration system. So in this session, we are going to discuss about two major important things. One being our immune system and the second being the different glands which are present in the body. Okay. So we are going to start today, we are going to see that how this immune system is functioning, what are the different organs there, how they are helping in maintaining the immunity of our body. Then after, we will see that what are the different glands, the different endocrine glands which are situated in our body and what is their role. We will try to see that what are the functions of these different glands. Okay. Through our image, we will also try to see that what is the location of these glands in the body. Okay. So let us start our discussion. The very first important thing is the immune system. Now, as you know that when we talk about our immune system, the first thing that comes to our mind is the white blood cells in our body. In the last session also, we have discussed about this white cells. We have seen that there we are having T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. Now the T cells or B cells, they are basically responsible for making of the antibodies in the body for different type of infection or any such other problem. Okay. So let us see that how this immune system is actually functioning. What is the role of the different organs there? Okay. So if we talk about the immune system, there are certain organs here. Like we are having this white blood cell, and we are also having the antibodies. The antibodies are nothing but simply proteins. Okay, like in the blood group session, we have discussed that we are having antigens and antibodies. So both are basically proteins. In the session on this biomolecules, basically we have this chapter 2, biomolecules. There we have discussed about protein. And in that session, I have told you a very important thing, that proteins are not just there for growth and development, but also for all range of the functions which are being performed in the body. There I have told you one very important thing. If you are having some pain in your body, that is because of a protein. If you are getting relief from the pain, it is again due to protein. If there is some wound on your body, okay, and it is paining from there, it is again due to the protein. If it is healing there, it is due to protein. If you have got certain infection by some microbes, they also have some proteins which help in spreading that infection or spreading their dominance. And in order to curb them, in order to kill them, in order to eliminate them, our body also makes antibodies, which are again basically the proteins. So proteins are not just responsible for the development of the muscles, like we generally assume that proteins are very much essential for the development of our muscles. When we are joining the gym, you have a number of advices that, okay, you can start eating these proteins and all. So apart from that, proteins are performing various roles in our body. Okay. Now, let us see that what are these immune systems. So first of all, we have seen white body cells are there, white blood cells are there, we have antibodies and plus a range of different chemicals which are there. Okay. Now, what is the primary function of this immune system? Basically, it is responsible for safeguarding the body. It is responsible for safeguarding the body against foreign invaders. Okay. When we talk about the bacteria, the viruses, the parasites which are there, the fungi which is there. So if they are entering into our body, it is being protected, or the immune system, the organs which are there, they are trying to protect us from these foreign invaders. Okay. Now this human immune system, they are basically having some lymphoid organs, certain tissues, cells, and certain soluble molecules like antibodies. Okay. This human immune system, it has this unique capability. Now see here, it is very important part. The immune system of the body, they have a very unique capability to recognize and analyze the different type of invaders which are coming into our body. When a bacteria, when any such microbe invades our body, when it comes into our body, the immune system of our body has this ability to analyze it. It has this ability to decode that what this bacteria is made up of, what is its strength, what is its weakness, how we can eliminate it, how we can fight it off. Okay. So when any such organism is coming inside our body basically analyzes that, recognizes that. Okay. So that is the unique ability of our human immune system. Okay. If any such foreign body has come, or foreign substances has entered our body, then it is also going to prepare a defense against them, mount a response against them, and develop memory also for the future course. Okay. So suppose if you are infected by a bacteria, let us say you have been infected by a bacteria, the body is not simply fighting it off. The body first analyzes that what this bacteria is made up of, what are the different proteins it is having, how we can defeat it, and then it again prepares that strategy, it eliminates them. Along with that, they will keep this in the memory. We have discussed about the cells and its component. There I have told you the DNA which is there, it is acting as a memory device of the cell. It is acting as that flash storage device. Okay. So it stores all these memories in the body. Okay. Now, it is also playing an important part in allergic reaction, autoimmune diseases, and then organ transplantation also. Okay. Like see, in case of organ transplantation, there is a major problem. Suppose that if a person has got kidney problem and there has been kidney transplantation. Okay. Now, kidney transplantation has been done from some other person. So when kidney is going into the body will recognize that as a foreign substance, as a foreign organ. And the body will always try to remove it from the system. It will try to kill that away. Now the person has to depend on immunodepressants medicines. Okay. The medicines which can depress or again reduce the immune response of the body. Okay. So in that case, the person who has got the transplantation, they have to depend on the immunodepressant medicines also. Remember this one thing, if anything is entering into the body and if that is a foreign substance, body is going to react against it. That is one of the major important critical factors of the immune system. Okay. Now, here we have talked about certain lymphoid organs. So what are they? Basically, they are responsible for the maturation and proliferation of the lymphocytes. I have been telling you about the T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes which are present in the white blood cells. So these lymphoid organs which are there, like the bone marrow, they are basically responsible for the origin, maturation and proliferation. Okay. Means development of them, maturation of them, spread of them. Okay. For that, the lymphoid organs are there. Okay. We have the bone marrow. Then we have a gland in our body which is called as thymus. So these two are responsible where the immature lymphocytes, they are undergoing differentiation to become antigen sensitive lymphocytes. Okay. Differentiation means becoming specialized cells. They are becoming specialized cells with a specialization, with some specific function. Okay. So the bone marrow and the thymus which is there, the thymus gland which is there, they are basically responsible for the origin, maturation and proliferation of the lymphocytes, the antibodies creating cells of the body. Okay. Now, once they have become matured, the lymphoid organs, like we have some secondary lymphoid organs in the body, like we have a spleen, lymph nodes, tonsils, pairs, patches. So once the lymphocytes are prepared, once they have matured, they then move to the secondary, type of the lymphoid organs. Okay. And the secondary lymphoid organs, what they are doing? They are basically serving as the site for lymphocyte antigen interaction. Means here the lymphocytes which have reached to this portion, now they are going to react with the antigens which are coming from outside at these secondary lymphoid organs, like the spleen which is there, the Peyer's patch which is there, the tonsils which is there. Okay, so that is the role of the secondary lymphoid organs. Okay, now if we talk about the types of immune system, basically we are having two different types of immune system. One is innate immune response, the second is adaptive immune response or acquired immune response. Okay, so we are having two different types of immune system. There is innate, means it is something which is present since birth. It is not something which is a special adaptive, or you can say that thing which we have acquired in our life. It is coming along with the life. It is something which has been provided along with the life. Yeah. Like our skin which is there, it is protecting us from a number of such foreign substances like dust particles which are there, the pollen grains which are there, the insects which are there, the various other microbes which are there. They are not reaching to the different organs of the body. Why they are not reaching? Because there is a special protection mechanism in the form of skin of our body. So that skin is acting as a defensive guard of the different organs of our body. The hairs or the mucus in the nostrils which are there, they are also acting as a part of the innate immune response. Okay. So here we are like we can see that these are certain things which is automatically present. Okay. Now, they are not having such specific cells, they are just general cells of the body. They give immediate response. Response is quite much fast, but there is no such memory of the things. Okay. So they are always going to give the same response. Whatever the foreign invaders is there, they are going to have the same manner. So there is no such adaptation here. Okay. Then we have the adaptive immune response. You know that the bacteria, the viruses, the microbes, they are ever evolving. And the body's immune response system, they have to also evolve. If the bacteria or the viruses are becoming more powerful, our immune system has to make suitable antibodies in order to control them. Okay. So that is another part of it. They are also evolving accordingly. Okay. Then, see, if we talk about the innate immune system, just look at it. It is the first one which is going to respond. So it is the first, we can say that the first one to respond when any such invader is coming up. Okay. Then what it is made up of? Basically, we have the skin, the cornea of the eye, the mucous membrane in the respiratory system, the gastrointestinal and genitourinary tracts. Okay. They are basically the innate immune system organs. They are basically the part of innate immune system. Okay. Now, what they are doing, basically, they are creating some physical barriers. Okay. They are basically creating some physical barrier so that the substances, the foreign invaders, the foreign substances do not enter inside the body. Okay. They protect, what they protect against? They protect against the germs, the parasites, the cells. Okay. All these things they are protecting against. Okay. Now, when it is active, see, the innate immune system is active from the childhood itself. From the very beginning itself, this innate immune system is active, and the system recognizes an invader. Whenever it recognizes an invader, it goes into action right there then. Okay. So it is having a fast response in comparison to the acquired immune system. Okay. Now, there is one particular activity here. Basically, the cells of this innate immune system, if they find certain pathogen, what they will do, they will surround and cover the invader, and then it is killed inside. And this thing is what we call as phagocyte. Okay. So this process is what we call as phagocyte. Okay. Then on the other hand, we have the adaptive or acquired immune system. Basically, it is about the evolution of our immune system. It is like how the immune system has responded to the emerging threats which are there. Okay. And in this case, basically, we are having the formation of antibodies. Okay. Here comes the role of these lymphocyte cells, which are going to create antibodies, that is also basically a protein, in order to curb the infection. Okay. So see, They are prepared by one thing called as B lymphocytes. Okay. B lymphocytes are part of the white blood cell. There they are preparing the antibodies. There is another cell, T lymphocyte. Now T lymphocyte is triggering. T lymphocyte is basically triggering the release of, triggers the formation of antibodies. Okay. Basically, this T cells or T lymphocytes, they have this primary role of triggering the, or you can say that it is directing the formation of the antibodies by the B lymphocytes. Okay. So that is its role. Okay. Now there is one more thing, like in the case of innate immune system, what we have seen that it is going to provide an immediate response. It is going to provide an immediate response. Okay. But in the case of acquired immune system, the antibodies will take time to be formed. It will take some time in order to be formed. Okay. So it can take even several days. Like you can see that sometimes the bacteria or viruses are attacking us and the body is able to recover from it in a long period of time. Okay. So it takes several days in order to form inside the body. Okay. Now, but there is one thing which you should keep in mind. Okay. For the first time, it may happen that the body will take several days in order to form the antibody, because they have to analyze how the bacteria is functioning, what are the different proteins. They have to make new antibodies. But the next time, if the same foreign substance, if the same foreign invader, if the same foreign microbe is entering into the body, now there will be role of the memory system of the immune organs. They will recognize this invader and will generate the immune response at a very fast rate. Okay. So after the first exposure, the rate is going to be very much fast. And that is the whole concept behind one very important thing which we call as vaccination. Okay. In vaccination, what we are trying to do, we are just trying to give that first exposure to the body. We are introducing some live attenuated microbes or dead microbes so that body can analyze it. It can form antibodies. And when the actual infection is there, the body can generate a very much fast response in order to curb the rise or in order to curb that infection. Okay. So that is the whole concept behind the vaccination process. Okay. Then this basically, there is one thing which you should be knowing here. We have discussed that acquired immune system or acquired immunity. It is something which develops throughout the lifetime of the person. Okay. Now, it is generally said by various doctors that you should not be shielding your child from each and everything. Okay. Like suppose that many people don't even like that their child go to some area which is having some dust or anything. Okay. They don't even want the child to touch soil. Okay. Now, there is a problem. If the person is not having exposure to the common environmental factors like dust, pollen, grains, okay, then there is a chance that in the later course of time, in the later course of life, if that person is going outside, the body will not be able to cope up because the body has not acquired that immune response. It has not learned from all these things. Okay. So, like the natural way of living, it is also going to provide a lot of immunity to the body as well. Okay. Now, so we have also got certain disorders of the immune system. And what are those disorders? The first and very important thing is allergy. You know that the immune system is treating each and every foreign substance as each and every substance which is coming from outside as a foreign substance. So sometimes it results into a disorder which is called as allergy. Okay. Some of the immune systems, or in some of the persons, the immune system is hypersensitive. They are very much active. And in that case, if the person is getting certain dust, pollen, grains, insects or anything like that, even consumption of certain food items, it is going to elicit, it is going to result into a very much strong response from the body. And that strong response is in form of allergy. where the body is trying to expel out that substance from the body. So allergy is basically a hyperimmune system active in the body. Okay. So like it can be even a harmless substance like the food or the pollens. They might not be harming us, but the body is considering them as a harmful substance. The body is reacting in a hyper manner. And this is what which causes the problem of allergies. Okay. It can be very much mild also, like it can be simply sneezing or stuffy nose. Okay. But it can also cause in severe problems and can even cause death. So allergies are sometimes very much can say that deadly as well. Okay. In normal case, of course, allergies are like simply sneezing, or sometimes if you are having runny noses, that's all. But then in hyper cases, in some sensitive cases, it can also cause death of the person. Okay. Now, autoimmune disease. Okay. Basically, this is one of the disorders in which the immune cell gets some problems, gets some defects, and it start impacting or it start destroying the healthy cells of the body itself. Okay. It start considering the healthy cells or the normal cells of the body as a outsider, as a foreigner. And in that case, the problem which is caused is called as autoimmune disorder. Okay. Then we have examples like lupus, diabetes, Hashimoto's disease. Okay. Then rheumatoid arthritis. They are some of the example of autoimmune diseases where the body's immune system starts considering the healthy cells of the body as a threat. Okay. Then primary immunodeficiency disorder. Okay. Basically, primary immunodeficiency disorder, okay, they are basically passed in the family generation by generation. Okay. So these are certain inherited diseases or genetic diseases. If the immune system is weaker in one generation, it is being passed regularly to the other generation all. So that is called as primary immunodeficiency disease. Okay. Then there are certain infections which are again altering which are again impacting the immune system. And one of that is HIV. Okay. The HIV is responsible for acquired immune deficiency syndrome, AIDS. Okay. So this is again hampering the ability of immune system to work properly. Okay. It is basically destroying the T cells and B cells of the body. Okay. It is basically destroying the T cells and B cells of the body, the HIV virus. And it reduces the capability of the immune system. Now, it has been seen that in cases of AIDS, people are mostly not dying due to AIDS, but rather than that, they are dying due to some simple disease. Okay. Why? Because the body's immune response has become so much weak that they are not even able to fight the simple diseases there. Okay. So that is one of the problems with the HIV and AIDS. Okay. Then cancer. Okay. So basically certain type of cancer like we have leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma. Okay. They are also affecting the immune system. Okay. And these immune cells, they can grow uncontrollably. They can create or they can start destroying the healthy cells of the body as well. Okay. Then we have another problem called as sepsis. Basically, immune response system is again very much hyperactive in this case, and it is going to cause huge amount of inflammation in the body. Okay. And they can lead to even the organ damage or organ failure and death. So sepsis is again a hypersensitivity of the immune system. Okay. Then like I was telling you in the beginning that during the transplantation of various organs, there is this provision of providing immunodepressant to the people. Okay. So there are certain medicines which result in deficiency of the immune system or weakening of the immune system. There are certain medicines like corticosteroids. Okay. They can cause deficiency or they can cause weakness of the immune system. Okay. The people who are having the immunosuppressant medicines, they are basically trying to stop the chances of rejection of the organ, but meanwhile their immune response system becomes weaker and weaker. Okay. So medications can also lead to deficiency or weakness of the immune system. Okay. So that is another part of this immune system. Now, we are going to see one more thing here, and that is the endocrine and exocrine glands in the body and the hormones which are there. Okay. So basically, just to understand a bit about it, endocrine glands are those glands which have their secretions directly into the blood. Okay. They don't have any well-developed duct-like structure. Okay. So they don't have any well-developed duct-like structure, and they are directly putting their secretions into the blood. Okay. Whereas, if we talk about the exocrine glands have a well-developed duct-like structures, like we have the sweat glands, we have the salivary glands. They are having a well-developed duct-like structure from which they are just doing their secretions. Okay. And what are these secretions? These secretions are nothing but the hormones, and hormones are chemicals which are present in the body. These are the chemicals which have been manufactured, which have been created or produced for performing certain specific function in the body. Okay. So they are basically the endocrines or the exocrine glands. Endocrine gland, they put their secretions directly into the blood. They do not have any well-developed duct-like structure. Whereas the exocrine glands, they have complete development of the ducts. They don't do it into the blood directly. Okay. Now, so let us see that what are these different chemicals or what are these different glands in our body and what is their role. Okay. But first, see the location of them. We have one thing, hypothalamus gland, again situated in the middle part of the brain. Then we have this pineal gland also, which is situated here. We have the pituitary gland, again lying near the brainstem. Okay. Then we have the thyroid and parathyroid gland. We have this thymus gland. We have just talked about it. This thymus gland is very much important for the immunity of the body. Okay. We have the pancreas, we have the adrenal. Then in the case of female, we have the ovary as a gland, endocrine gland, and in case of male, we have testes as a endocrine gland. Okay. So they are the location of the various glands which are situated in our body. Okay. We are going to see the function of them one by one. Okay. First of all, we have the hypothalamus. Okay. Basically, this hypothalamus is regulating the synthesis and secretion of the pituitary gland. Okay. So hypothalamus is controlling the whatever secretion is coming out of the pituitary gland. And what is this pituitary gland responsible for? Basically, it is there to activate all the other endocrine glands. Okay. See, there is this chronology. The hypothalamus which is there, it is responsible for activating the pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland is responsible for activating all the other endocrine glands of the body. Okay. So its first function is to regulate the secretions from the other glands, the other endocrine glands of the body. Okay. Now, then at the same time, it is also regulating the growth and development of somatic tissues. Okay. So this pituitary gland is also responsible for somatic tissue, means normally the different cells which are there, the different cells which we are seeing in front of us, the cell of the skin, the cell of the ears, the cell of the eye, the cell of our brain, they are all basically most of the time somatic cells. Okay. Majority of our cells is basically the somatic cell. Okay. There is another group called a stem cell, but that is something which we will discuss a bit later. Okay. Stem cells are undifferentiated cells. They do not have any specialized role. Whereas the somatic cells, they have a specialized roles, that like the skin cell, they have a specialized role. The cardiac muscles which are made from the cardiac cells, they have a special function. Okay. The blood cells which are there, they have a specific functions. Okay. So here, this pituitary gland is basically responsible for the growth and development of the somatic tissue, along with regulating the peripheral endocrine glands. Okay. Then the third important gland which we are having, thyroid gland. This thyroid gland is basically supporting the process of formation of red blood cells. Okay. The red blood cells are being formed due to, again, this thyroid gland. Okay. Then it is also controlling the metabolism of carbohydrate, proteins and fats inside the body. Okay. That is also its role. It is also maintaining water and electrolyte balance, and at the same time it is also balancing the calcium level in the body. Okay. So thyroid gland is performing all these functions, from the manufacturing of the red blood cells to the metabolism of carbohydrate, fats and proteins, maintenance of calcium level, and also the water and electrolyte balance. Okay. So these all things are being performed by the thyroid gland. Okay. Then there is another gland, pineal gland. We have just seen it. So it is having this important function of regulation of 24-hour cycle of the body. Okay. The way we are responding at different time of the day, that is being regulated by the pineal gland. We have seen it is there in the head only. Okay. So this is regulating the 24-hour rhythm of our body. Okay. The thymus, we have just talked about it. This thymus is responsible for development of immune system. Okay. It is responsible for development of the immune system. Okay. On the other hand, we have the pancreas. Now what they are doing? Basically, the pancreas are responsible for managing a normal blood glucose level in the body. Okay. It is also performing a very important role in glucose homeostasis, means maintaining the balance of glucose in our body. Okay. Now, at the same time, there is conversion of glucose into glycogen in the body. If you remember, the food is stored in form of glycogen in the case of animal cells, whereas it is stored in form of starch in the case of plant. Okay. So we have different methods of storing the food. So now this pancreatic gland which is there, it is responsible for stimulating the conversion of glucose into the glycogen. Okay. Then, if we talk about the another important gland, that is testis. Okay. So what is the role of it? Basically, it is responsible for the development and maturation as well as functioning of the accessory or secondary sex organs in the male body. Okay. It is also responsible for muscular growth, growth of facial and axillary hair, aggressiveness, and also the change in the voice. The low pitch of the male, it is again being a result of the testis gland. Okay. Then it is also performing a very much important role in the formation of sperm, okay, which is the male sex cells, and it is responsible for the process which is called as spermatogenesis, means generation of the sperms. Okay. In the female body, there is a gland called ovary. Now this ovary is again responsible for the same function which is being performed by testis in case of male. Okay. It is responsible for the growth and activities of female sex organ, appearance of the secondary sex characters, for example, high pitch of voice, as well as development of the mammary gland. Okay. The gland which is responsible for the breastfeeding, that is again being done by the ovary. Okay. So it is regulating the female sex behavior. There are two types of hormones which are secreted from here, estrogen and progesterone. Okay. So this progesterone is basically supporting the pregnancy. Okay. And estrogen is responsible for all the other functions. Okay. Then this ovary is also acting on the mammary glands, and it is supporting the formation of alveoli, which is going to store the milk and also responsible for secretion or formation of the milk. Okay. So that is the role of testis and ovary in male and female respectively. Okay. So they are some of the important glands which we have seen. We have discussed about the immune system, how it is acting, the different organs which are there, the lymphoid organs like we have discussed about the bone marrow and the spleen. We have talked about certain secondary lymphoid organs also. We have talked about the blood cells. We have talked about the T lymphocyte and B lymphocyte. We have seen their role. Okay. Then we have talked about the innate immunity and the acquired immunity. We have also discussed about some of the immune system related disorders. Okay, we have talked about the autoimmune diseases or primary immunodeficiency diseases. Okay, we have also talked about endocrine and exocrine glands. Okay, we have seen that what is the main difference between them. Then we have seen some of the major important endocrine glands of the body, starting from hypothalamus, pineal and pituitary in the brain to thymus, thyroid. Then we have talked about pancreas, we have talked about testis and ovary. Okay. So they were some of the important topics from this chapter 4 of Science and Technology book. Okay. Now, in the upcoming session, we will be discussing some more part of this human body system, like digestive system is there and other systems are also there. Okay. So let's meet in the next session and then we will discuss it further. Thank you very much. All the best.